Check in time. What we got on the menu today? Hey, look, y'all, man, we got some breaking news for y'all today. Hey, check it out, y'all, man. We got this Diddy trial, bro. This Diddy trial is going crazy, y'all. So check it out. Today, Diddy updates. We gonna get into these Diddy updates, y'all. We about to get into these Diddy updates right now. About to get into these Diddy updates. Give me 1 second, y'all. Let's check out what some of Diddy's exes. You got his ex Gina Hung. She stopped by the paparazzi and they asked her a question. You know what I'm saying? They asked her about her opinion on the Diddy trial and what would happen if he was found guilty. When she was leaving Whole Foods in Vegas, right? She asked if she thought Diddy would win the trial. She shrugged her shoulders, saying, "I don't know." Gina was also asked if her ex did win, would her life be threatened in any way? She said no. But check out these comments that Aubrey O'Day had to say about Diddy.
If he is found guilty on at least something, how does that make you feel?
I'd feel best if he was found guilty on everything.
And if he walks free?
I don't have that in the range of my possibility thoughts right now. I don't believe that that would happen. If it does, though, I'm gonna buy a ticket to Bali like I did the last time I couldn't do this country anymore.
Okay, I was gonna say, do you fear at all for your safety or what life looks like if he is back out in the world?
I fear for the messaging that we're going to be giving any newcomers in the industry. And by the way, entertainment is the one that's glamorized and that stands out the most, let's say. She's the it girl. Politics is a little bit over to standing right on our neck. But we're...
If he is found guilty on at least...
Now, this is my thing, right? This is my thing with Aubrey, right? Okay, y'all just heard what she had to say about Diddy, and if he's found guilty, she gonna move out the country because she's so scared for her life, right? So, why when Diddy was free, she didn't move out the country? Why when Diddy was free, she wasn't trying to go make police reports and say she feared for her life or that Diddy was threatening her or something like that? You dig what I'm saying? It's a lot of propaganda going on with this Diddy case. Now, look, I ain't here to say if Diddy guilty or not guilty. I feel like the stuff Diddy did as far as Cassie, no man should do that, bro. No man should ever put his hands on no woman. That is out of bounds. That is a foul on the play. That is a technical foul, bro. Definitely should be thrown out the game for that. You dig me? But at the same time, Diddy ain't on trial for that, bro. Diddy is not on trial for domestic violence with Cassie. That's not what Diddy on trial for, y'all. Diddy's not on trial for that, bro. Diddy is on trial for ex trafficking. Dig what I'm saying? Also transportation of prostitution. Dig what I'm saying? Also, they got rug distribution. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's a lot of cartels they could be focused on instead of being focused on Diddy and his little party favors that he be having in his little FOs. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all focusing on a man who basically doing things with people in his bedroom that are basically willing participants in this. You dig what I'm saying? Like, they made it known that when the investigation first started, the prosecution didn't even have no victims. They didn't have not one victim. You dig what I'm saying? Like, the feds don't usually have no case and start a case with no victims. They gained victims as they started questioning people. And as they started questioning people, these people start making up these elaborate stories and using all this propaganda that's already on Diddy's name and started using it to their advantage. Now, I feel like a lot of them people, they had dead the wrong. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them people, they had dead the wrong. And a lot of those people were supposed to be co-conspirators and co-defendants and things like that, but they wasn't because, you know, they flipped on Diddy. They decided to come up with these stories and work with the prosecution to take Diddy down. Now, I ain't gonna lie. Diddy gonna be found guilty. Diddy's gonna be found guilty on something. Diddy is not walking away scot-free. It's not gonna happen. Never gonna happen. Not in a million years, bro. It's no way this nigga gonna walk scot-free. Dig what I'm saying? This nigga got a hell of a defense team, but he just ain't gonna walk free on everything. They ain't gonna let it rock like that. That ain't the way it's gonna go. But you know what I'm saying? The prosecution, if they don't get a sweep, it's still a loss for the prosecution. It's still a loss for the prosecution if they don't get a clean sweep. They got to get a clean sweep for it to be a win for the prosecution. And I ain't gonna lie, the prosecution looking bad throughout this whole case. Everybody saying it. Now, we're gonna check out Lauren LaRosa. She was at the jury deliberations yesterday. We're gonna check out what Lauren LaRosa had to say. Y'all check it out.
Hey y'all, it's Lauren LaRosa, and this is the latest with Lauren LaRosa. Everything you need, entertainment news, exclusives, and the conversations that shake the room. Today, I'm bringing you guys an update outside of the courthouse where Sean Diddy Combs is awaiting to find out what 12 people will say happens for the rest of his life. Now, when I say 12 people, I'm talking, of course, about the jury. Now, the jury has been in deliberations now. At this point, it is after 3 p.m. on June 30th, 2025 for over 3.5 hours. So what happened this morning in court was the judge gave the jury instructions. One of the issues that came up in court today was juror number 25 got to the back where they're debating on, guilty, not guilty, and said, I don't need to do this. I don't need to sit and have these conversations. So it's inferred that that juror already knows how they feel, whether it's guilty or not guilty. So there was a jury note that came, and Diddy's attorneys and the prosecution with the judge considered this jury note. Prosecution was saying, look, this juror is going to be a problem because this juror is not following your instructions, judge. This juror does not want to sit and have the conversations with the rest of the jury. Diddy's team is saying, look, when we read this note, we don't read this as this juror cannot follow instructions. The minute I heard that, I said, oh, this is a juror that the defense feels like is going to be a Diddy juror. Right? The judge says, I don't want to be the judge that tells a jury member you can't determine how you feel in whatever amount of time. So now we wait. It's a waiting game now. People keep asking me, when do I think it'll come down? I think we will definitely have it by Wednesday, latest Thursday, before the holiday, because I think these jurors want to go home. I don't think people understand how taxing it is to be here.
Y'all heard what Lauren LaRosa said. Shout out Lauren LaRosa in the Breakfast Club. Y'all heard what Lauren LaRosa said, right? Juror number 25. Juror number 25 is giving the other jurors issues. The other jurors is not liking juror number 25 because juror number 25 sound like they already got their mind made up. They basically saying they don't need all the chit chat. They don't need all the deliberations. They don't need all the back and forth, going back and forth with they co-jurors and all that, right? They saying they already know what they want to do. They know which way they rocking already. And apparently, Diddy legal team feel like this particular juror is rocking on Diddy's side. You know what I'm saying? Now, me personally, I feel like that could be a dangerous game. You know what I'm saying? Because regardless of which side that juror is on, that juror already has that they mind made up. They already know either they with the prosecution or they with the defense. You know what I'm saying? So that juror could be for either side. You know what I'm saying? Like whoever that juror is, that's a strong person for whichever side they going with. You know what I'm saying? Like that could either be a person that's good for the defense, or that could be a person that's good for the prosecution. We're going to check out some of what academics had to say about this juror.
by the name Mia. So this video was shown.
Check out Act, y'all.
To the press as her face, where yes, you can see these people, like there's nothing blocking her face in court, but you cannot report on it and they won't put it in the docket as these people. It's got to be on the seal. So this got fucked up and it was this video. Shameless plug. Gotta put my lip gloss on. Poppin'! Puff Daddy, the living legend himself. You have not only revolutionized the game, but the entire world. I'm so blessed to call you my friend. Thank you for truly being one of the biggest inspirations in my life. To another 44 years of brilliance. Let's fuck shit up. Okay. Now, that's one of the videos that caused problems with the pseudonym thing. Also, there's been alleged rumors that there's bloggers in court that's leaving court and texting other people who these people who have pseudonyms are, right? And they're alluding to them. I won't mention necessarily the names of these bloggers that are supposedly there, but they're saying that, right? And then also they said people found out online. They might be talking about maybe even our broadcast. We don't know. But
look, this is what I feel about the Diddy trial, y'all. This is my honest opinion. I personally feel like the prosecution got an extremely weak case. You know what I'm saying? You got an extremely overzealous prosecution team that they basically do the same thing that us as content creators, what rappers do, what athletes do. You trying to get attention to whatever it is you pushing. You dig what I'm saying? Like the same way I'm trying to get attention to this channel, to my YouTube channel, right? That's the same thing the prosecution is doing, bro. If Diddy was just a regular person, just your everyday working dude, just say he was a business owner, just a normal business owner. Say he owned a string of barbershops or something like that, right? This federal prosecution team would have never went at Diddy. The reason they going at Diddy, and especially in the Southern District of New York, is because they want headlines. But the thing is, they hit a brick road with this one, man. They hit a brick wall with this one, bro. They hit an extreme brick wall because they didn't cross their T's and they ain't dot their I's. They ain't cross their T's and they ain't dot their I's on this one. And I really feel like Diddy got a chance to beat most of these charges, but that still ain't gonna do him no good because he's still gonna have to go to jail. He gonna be found guilty on some of these charges, but the majority of these charges, Diddy gonna be found not guilty. And that's a fact. I'm gonna get y'all some more content right quick. Hold on.
jury members are now deliberating in the federal sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs. So the judge gave the jury some pretty lengthy instructions in evaluating all the evidence that was presented them over the past 7 weeks, including graphic testimony from dozens of witnesses. So always a joy to bring in CBS News national correspondent and anchor Jerika Duncan, who's been following that story outside the pandemonium that is that trial, my friend. Jerika, can you go over the charges the jury has to look at? We understand that those instructions were very long and lengthy.
They are, and they're expected to be, because this is the most crucial part for the jurors. 8 men and 4 women that sat through about 2.5 hours worth of jury instructions and also a verdict sheet. So the charges that Combs is facing are the racketeering conspiracy, and within that there are 8 elements that the prosecution was expected to prove in reference to the fact that they say Combs led a criminal enterprise. Then there's the sex trafficking that has to do with his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura Fine. She was the star witness here, but there's also another sex trafficking count for Jane, who testified for 6 days. And then the last count that we're going to be looking at is that transportation for prostitution charge. So all in all, the racketeering conspiracy, he could face up to life in prison. That is
Okay, let's talk about that right quick, right?
the most serious count
They
that we're going
said
to be looking
one count of racketeering conspiracy, one count of X trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, two counts transportation for purposes of prostitution, two counts, right? Okay, the two alleged victims is Cassie, which was one of his girlfriends, and another woman, which is 50 Cent baby mama, Daphne Joy. That's another one of his girlfriends. Now, you cannot traffic your girlfriends, bro. Like, that's cap. You cannot traffic your girlfriends. And if it's people that's on that jury that think logically, and especially men who been through things like this and know how the system play, they not going for a charge to find him guilty of trafficking his girlfriends. Now, it ain't like they made these people as if they was just like ex workers. It wasn't like these was just ex workers who they trying to say he trafficked. Now, if they tried to say he trafficked the ex workers, that'd be a different story. But they trying to say he trafficked his girlfriends, bro. How you gonna traffic your girlfriends, bro? Like, they got a real uphill battle. You know what I'm saying? I haven't been down there to the trial, so I don't know who the jurors are, what they look like. I can't get no vibe from them and kind of like get a feel for how they might be thinking or what type of moves or what type of people they might be or nothing like that because I haven't been there. You know what I'm saying? But just listening to these charges, it sounds crazy to say somebody was trafficking their girlfriend. Now we're going to keep going.
at is that transportation for prostitution charge. So all in all, the racketeering conspiracy, he could face up to life in prison. That is the most serious one. So a lot of people looking to see what they will charge him with there, if they charge him with anything at all. The prosecution laying this case out very clearly when they made their closing arguments as to why the jurors should find him guilty of those charges. But the defense placing a lot of out in those closing arguments last week when it comes to this federal trial. Reed?
Jurika, remind us about how the process happens, because jurors are allowed to ask the judge questions and ask for pieces of evidence to be resent up to that jury room. If we see that happen, does it give us sort of a sense of what the jurors are thinking?
It does. I think when jurors ask for more evidence or when they ask for clarification about how they're expected to reach a verdict in a specific charge, it gives us some indication that there's some discourse, maybe confusion about that specific charge. But, you know, the judge said that the jurors are the sole exclusive judges of the facts, and that they would have to rely on their recollection of that 7 weeks of witnesses that they've heard, as well as whether or not those witnesses are credible. I also want to
See, that's another thing, right? That's another thing. Okay, when the prosecution first came, like they first witness, the first person they had was Cassie Ventura. Everybody knows Cassie. Everybody know Cassie history with Diddy. Cassie was Diddy's girlfriend. Cassie was damn near Diddy's wife. You dig what I'm saying? So Cassie came up there and she exposed a lot. Cassie Ventura exposed a lot. She had, if the trial would have just stopped right there with Cassie's testimony, everybody would have found Diddy guilty. Everybody would have found Diddy guilty by just listening to her story. Because, you know, she's sitting up there on the stand. She's pregnant. Dig what I'm saying? She's crying. She's having to recount all these extreme acts that happened to her while she was with Diddy. And, you know, a lot of people gained sympathy for her through that. But the thing about that is you always got the defense. You always got the defense that's going to debunk a lot of that. And a lot of things that Cassie was saying, Diddy did a good job with this by having a female do the questioning of Cassie. A female that's on Diddy legal team did the cross-examination on Cassie. And, you know, she debunked a lot of the things that Cassie said. So by the end of the first week, a lot of people who was on Cassie's side and on the prosecution side had switched over to Diddy's side, like, because they was hearing how the defense was catching Cassie up in a lot of stories, and it was starting to look like Cassie was the one who was trying to extort Diddy. Because before Cassie dropped the lawsuit, y'all gotta remember this, bro, and this is a major key fact, right? Before Cassie went and filed that lawsuit against Diddy, which started this whole RICO case, she basically tried to extort Puff. She asked Puff for $30 million for the rights to a book she was writing that was going to basically detail all this. Everything that we're hearing about in this trial, her book was going to basically expose all of it. And Diddy reneged. Diddy denied buying it. Diddy didn't want no parts. Diddy, Diddy is Puff, man. That's brother love. He ain't going for no extortion move. Whether it's a soft extortion move, whether it's a hard press, whatever type of extortion it is, Diddy said he not going. Dig what I'm saying? So Diddy declined. And I think that kind of hurt Diddy, because after that, that's when the lawsuit dropped. And after the lawsuit dropped, that's when the video, CNN dropped the video of Cassie and Diddy, Diddy doing what he did to Cassie in that hotel. And after that, that's when all his homes started getting raided. Then after that, that's when the charges came down. So basically, all this started from Cassie lawsuit, and before Cassie lawsuit started with Cassie basically trying to extort Diddy out of $30 million for the rights to her book. We're gonna let them keep going though.
Note that the judge said that your verdict must be unanimous, but he said no juror should surrender his or her beliefs for the purpose of finding a unanimous verdict. So he's letting the jurors know that, listen, you need a unanimous verdict or you need a unanimous group of jurors, those 12, in order to charge him with these crimes. But there may be an instance like we saw with Harvey Weinstein where there sort of is a split verdict, where maybe they charge him on the sex trafficking, but they say not guilty on the racketeering conspiracy. So that is something also that could be an outcome. The family of Combs was in the courtroom today. They were in that second row. The first row is for the artist, but we saw 3 of his sons, 3 of his daughters. We know he has 7 children, and his mother, Janice Combs, was also there in the front. Combs was wearing a cream-colored shirt. He had his glasses on, his hands sort of clasped during the jury instructions, but we were also told he's requesting to have a book that he can read while he waits for the jurors to deliberate and find out what they find in terms of the facts of this case.
You've been in such close proximity to the arguments for so many weeks now, Jerika, as you have watched this play out, and it's really impossible.
Now, another crazy part of this case is Daphne Joy. Daphne Joy is the Jane Doe. Daphne Joy is the one who's been using the pseudonym as Jane Doe during this trial, right? Daphne Joy is 50 Cent baby mama. Now, what's ironic about Daphne Joy is, she's claiming that Puff did all these horrible things to her, but Puff's still paying her rent right now. It came out in court that Puff is still paying her rent right now to this day. Now, if a person is such an evil person and they did all these negative things to you, why is you still accepting his money? Why are you still accepting money from a person who's so evil? You so scared of this person. They coerced you. They threatened you into doing things. But yet you accepting this man's money still to this day. Still to this day, Puff is paying 50 Cent baby mama rent. Dig what I'm saying? The roof where 50 Cent's son lives at right now to this day, Puff paying the rent at. You dig what I'm saying? And that's where a lot of 50 Cent and Puff issues started at. You know what I'm saying? They've been going back and forth playing ping pong with each other bitches. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, 50 Cent and Puff been playing ping pong with each other bitches, and that's where they beef started at. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people feel like Puff did it first. Like Puff messing with Daphne Joy was the first straw. That wasn't the first straw. 50 Cent baby mama, his first baby mama, Shaniqua Thompson, just came out and said basically 50 was fucking with Misa Hilton, which is Puff baby mama, and Alpo ex, you know what I'm saying? 50 Cent was fucking with her. The reason 50 started fucking with her and letting her be his stylist is because he was trying to get info on Diddy. See, 50 Cent is a critical thinking ass nigga, bro. 50 Cent always got some up his sleeve. Every move 50 Cent make it's a move on his chessboard. 50 Cent always making moves on his chessboard. And basically what his baby mama, Shaniqua Tompkins, exposed was when 50 Cent was trying to sign Mace, right? 50 Cent was trying to sign Mace. I don't know, like some of y'all younger people might not remember that, but at a time when 50 Cent and G Unit was popping, like they was the biggest rap label, biggest rap group in the world, 50 was trying to bring Mace back out of retirement. And when 50 was trying to sign Mace, Puff still had a contract on Mace. And basically Puff told 50 Cent he need $2 million for Mace. 50 Cent said Mace ain't worth no $2 million with $2 million in his pocket. Dig what I'm saying? Like 50 said Mace wasn't worth $2 million with $2 million in his pocket at that time. I don't know the exact details and exact price what 50 Cent was trying to give Puff for Mace to get him out that contract so he could sign with G Unit, but Puff wasn't going. Y'all know Puff is a shrewd businessman, so he wasn't going, right? And basically what happened is 50 Cent baby mama said James Cruz, who was working for 50 Cent at the time, is an ex-employee of Diddy and Bad Boy. He hooked 50 Cent up. He hooked 50 Cent up with Misa Hilton to be his stylist, and Misa Hilton and 50 Cent started rocking with each other. Dig what I'm saying? We got some breaking news, y'all. Jurors reached a verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. The jury is hung on count 1, still deliberating. The jurors have reached a verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5 on the Diddy trial. We live right now, and the jurors have reached a verdict in the Diddy trial on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. Count 1 is the count that the jurors are still deliberating on. Right now, they hung on that. You dig what I'm saying? Hey, man, what y'all think, man? Y'all thinking Diddy finna be guilty, or y'all thinking Diddy finna be not guilty? I ain't gonna lie, this is a bad sign if the jury come back this quick, man. This is a bad sign for Diddy with the jury coming back this quick, y'all. I don't know what's going on, but this is not a good look for Puff. Not at all. Let's see if we can get some quick updates. Y'all give me a second. Hold on. Okay.
What would you say to somebody that hasn't tried therapy before?
Just ask yourself if what you're doing in your life right now
Let's
is working.
get past this. Jury reaches verdict on 4 out of 5 counts. Let's see here. Y'all, we definitely gonna get a verdict today on 4 out of 5 charges. I don't know about that last count. That count 1, they don't want to convict him on that RICO, y'all. They not gonna convict. I know they ain't gonna convict Diddy on that RICO. They is not finna convict him on that RICO. The feds is taking an L. Diddy is about to give the feds a L in the Southern District of New York, and we about to see it live right here, right now. Let's see what updates we can get, y'all. Hold on. I feel like Diddy gonna get about 10 to 12 years. That's gonna be Diddy's sentence. They're gonna give him 10 to 12 years. For the counts that he gonna get found guilty on, they're gonna give Diddy 10 to 12 years. Diddy gonna do by 8 years off that. Diddy gonna do by 8 years and he gonna come on home, man. Now the thing about it is if the counts he's found guilty on are part of that RICO, they can go after his paper. They can go after his money. Dig what I'm saying? They can go after all his paper. So I don't know, man. I'm gonna bring y'all some more updates later. We're gonna get some more updates on this verdict. But right now, breaking news, y'all. The jurors have reached a verdict on 4 out of the 5 counts. The jury is still undecided and deliberating on count 1 in the Diddy trial. I'm gone.